Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode. We're here in Liverpool, the best city in the world, and today we're going to do another retro game store tour. Alright, let's jump straight into it. Grand Central, a building close to my heart. I used to work in a comic book and retro game shop here, Level Up. They've moved on now and I wish them all the best, but a new game shop's opened, so it's time to visit once again and see what they got to offer. The shop in question is the Retro Dojo, trained in trading. Now, after working this building so many times, I know how confusing it can be. So you go through the front doors, take the first set of stairs to your right, see the Grand Central graffiti on the wall, and then you'll eventually get to the basement. If you don't fall over anyway, you'll start seeing the signs, the Retro Dojo. There's Tiny Rick's there, maybe a potential future episode. Keep following the signs. And here we are, we've arrived, greeted by Ian, one of the owners. For anybody a bit more impatient, here's the full shop, and what a shop we have before us. Everything ranging from games, magazines, comics, arcade machines, it's all here. So we're going to start off with the games, which I imagine is the main reason most of you are watching this video. This lad here has decided to be like a live game chaser for us, so thank you very much for being our model here, lad. Everything you could want is here, and we're going to take a look at it now. Firstly, we're going to have a look at the PSP, which our Game Chaser model was inspecting as well. There's some real gems here, like this Mega Man powered up. I wish I got this myself. Next, we're going to stick with Sony and have a look at the PS1 games. I'm in heaven right now. There's some serious gems here, like this Pocket Fighters, which again, I wish I'd picked up. I could stand here and look at these forever, just like when I was in Soul Thumbs. I just love this console so much, but I'll go into that another day. Next up is Nintendo. Now we're going to stick with the controller and go with the N64. Here's all the loose cartridges on display and the box games as well. Speaking of box games, here's some of the best on the console, looking beautiful here in the cabinet. We're going to step back to the past and have a look at the NES now. Box games, cartridges, Donkey Kong, even a 4-score, it's all here. There's a great selection of GameCube games here. I don't even own Luigi's Mansion, so maybe you'll see me in the shop in future picking that one up. The best that Nintendo has to offer, the Super Nintendo. There was a lot of loose SNES cartridges in this shop, and let me tell you, I was on the edge of losing all the money in my bank account again here. There's great box games in the cabinets as well, but also there's some good import box games. Ian and Dave are both avid SNES collectors, and they've got a lot of NTSC games here to display and for sale as well. Speaking of import titles, here's a Japanese Mega Drive, a console I'd love to have in my collection. And speaking of Sega, here's the Dojo's Sega selection. If you love the Mega Drive, one of the best consoles of all time, you're not short of choice here. There's even some Mega CD games which looked amazing. For any of you classic gamers, there's a small Atari section, so go wild with that, and there's even some Xbox games as well. So there's no prejudice here in a Dojo, and you could ask for, they usually have. While we're on the topic of Microsoft, let's have a look at these big box PC games. Final Fantasy VIII here looks amazing. These are all at the top of the shelves, right near all the gaming accessories. There's some bigger guns as well, but you need to be an experienced gamer to handle them. When it comes to consoles, there's no shortage on boxes here at the Retro Dojo. Something I was trying to get in my collection for a long time, and you can get a real head start if you got them from here. There's a nice little Dreamcast selection, which I should have mooched at a little bit more. Right behind the counter, there's a lot more loose consoles, and this just looks great when you first walk through the doors. Here's the Mega CD here, the blue N64. I mean, even a promotional piece from GameStation or something, the Warriors, this thing looks sick. Maybe I'll ask about getting it down the line. The better consoles get themselves a place in the cabinet. Dragon Ball Z and the SNES, what more can you ask for? This place even has retro game coasters. I'm telling you, just can't go wrong with this shop. Right, I think that's it for the retro games. Now Bowser's going to point us in the direction of the retro toys. Wow, what a sight we have before us in all these cabinets. Honestly, if you're even nearly into the 80s or 90s era, and especially the toys obviously, you're just going to love this part of the video. I'm sorry if this is a bit alien to some years, but here's the top for those cabinets, and there's just so much here to talk about. Look at that Mortal Kombat stand, all Alien, everything, Ghostbusters. The quantity of stuff here is ridiculous. I want to have all these Star Wars figures, they look amazing, and this is surely the best alarm clock of all time. This might be one of the best figures I've ever seen here. Look at that Balrog, it looks so sick. And here we have one of my favourite toys of all time, the Green Ranger from Power Rangers. I can't wait to do a Power Ranger video in future as well, by the way. As you saw with the Balrog, size is not an issue here in the Retro Dojo. If you like collecting big figures, then this is the place for you. Anyway, let's lean back and have a go on the arcade machine. What a beautiful arcade cabinet. As you saw in a previous shot, this is for sale at the moment, so if you're interested, this is the place to go. I think this is an amazing addition for a game shop. It's free to play and so welcoming and just inviting. I think it's just a great thing to have for all the community, and you can't go wrong with Super Mario All-Stars, can you? Another great addition need free-to-play consoles. They got the SNES and the GameCube set up here. You can't beat a bit of Smash Brothers. This lad on the left here is called Jack, but better known as the Nowhere Lad on YouTube. He's a Scouse gamer, so please give him some support. I'm going to put his link below. Nice to meet you, Jack lad. This telly that they're playing on, by the way, is one of the very best commercial TVs you can get for retro gaming. It's a Bang & Olufsen. It's pretty much the best other than a PVM. Maybe I'll be doing a video about it in future, you never know. We're going to head over to the other side of Dojo now and check out this wall. It's just like going into a time machine, I swear to God. Here's the VR Troopers, the poor man's Power Rangers, and if SNES games are your thing, then there's some serious SNES goodness within this shop. If you like handhelds, there's quite a few little gems hidden here as well. When I went to play Blackpool, I saw this Street Fighter 2 slot machine. This is an official Capcom product and something you just don't see that often. The lads at the dojo bought this and brought it back to the shop. It's so loud, but seriously, just so cool. Cobra needs you. What a poster that is, honestly. Anyway, let's have a closer look at this slot machine, but more importantly, what's beneath it, the retro gaming magazines. I love retro gaming magazines. Unfortunately, there wasn't any PlayStation here, but there was a lot of actual retro gamer back issues and some old Nintendo magazines as well. Usually people charge ridiculous money for these, but these were £1 each, so we just had to pick some up. One of the more unique things at the Retro Dojo were all these tabletop strategy and board games that they had available. Now, you don't really see these that often, and it's just coincidental that opposite the way there is Tiny Rick's Board Game Cereal Cafe. Now, if you're into this, you should really come and check these out, because like I said, they're not necessarily rare, but you just don't see them that often, to be honest. Along with the magazines is some more retro game related reading material here. For anyone with a big collection, these strategy guides and graphic novels and just general books to do with retro gaming can be that little filler item that you need in your collection, and it's the stuff that I really look for, to be honest. While I was filming, I just spotted a poster in the corner of my eye and the text of Blade Runner, which I consider to be the best movie of all time, by the way. These are original movie posters. Honestly, is there anything this shop doesn't have? It's always worth asking what they got in the dojo, I swear. Let's check on and have a look at some of the more expensive items in the shop. Here's a signed first edition of Ready Player One. I implore you all to read this book. It's one of my favourites of all time. And here's a high detail figure of Starscream from the G1 Transformers. I love the Transformers, and man, one day maybe I'll have this figure, you never know. Speaking of the better items, here's Ian and a Final Fantasy VIII Collector's Edition for PS1. And believe it or not, these give me this as a gift. What the hell is going on? Thank you so much to Ian, Dave, everyone at the dojo. I'm overwhelmed. This is terrible audio on this video, but I just had to show me gratitude. It means the world to me. And with that, I can't give a better advertisement for this store. Head on down to the Retro Dojo. It's a hell of a place, and they've just made a customer for life in me. Let's have a look at the pickups that I got then. Like I said, I was into the reading material, so I got this Super Mario All-Stars guide, and I picked up one of the Nintendo official magazines as well. For £1, I just couldn't say no to this. Next up, we got the Visionaries Season 1 and Only Season box set. I used to have a few episodes of this on VHS, love the show. I've got a Mega CD too, but it doesn't have the game that comes with it, until now. I said I was into those Mega CD games, and now Road Avenger is a proud part of my collection. And it is the biggest part of it all. The Final Fantasy VIII Collector's Edition is everything in it for anybody who hasn't seen it before. This strip of PS1 stuff looks amazing. The t-shirt looks pretty worn, but the poster is boss. Thank you so much again. I'm completely overwhelmed and so grateful. Right everyone, so that's the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. And speaking of making it, I ended up going back in about 3 times to just try and get the right shots. Ian and Dave were both really supportive of the channel, and they were just really nice to me every single time I went in, so I wanted to give them the best video and the best representation of their shop that I could. Hopefully I've done that, and you guys are going to go down there and check it out. It is in Liverpool, and I imagine a lot of my viewers are from Liverpool, so you know, it's right in your doorstep, so just go for it, honestly. Also, speaking of Ian and Dave, I didn't get Dave on camera, but you never know, maybe I will in future. But just for Ian, you saw him gifting me the Final Fantasy VIII Collector's Edition there. I am overwhelmed. Honestly, I was on the verge of tears when he gave me that, to be honest. I was in there with my mate Ryan, and it just come out of nowhere. I was in there the day that they got it traded in, actually, when I was filming, and I was just awestruck basically. I couldn't believe that this thing was there in front of my eyes. I have seen it before, but it's just always been way too pricey for me to even consider. It's been one of the things that I've wanted since I very first started collecting, especially since it's a PlayStation 1 game and it's one of the few collector's editions on it. It's also a really special game to my heart, to be honest. So just on a personal level, Ian, Dave, thank you so much, mate. Like, genuinely, it means the world to me, and you just got a customer for life, and it's something I'm never going to forget, honestly. Speaking of the channel for a moment anyway, I'd just like to say sorry about the hiatus that I've had. I just had a lot of shit going on in my personal life. I'm a busy lad at the moment, but not too busy that I haven't been doing some filming. I've got a lot of footage and I've got the next few episodes ready and panned out. So I'm just going to keep going for it in editing. And like I always say, if you keep watching them, I'll keep making them. So anyway, the next video should be coming along shortly. Thank you so much for watching from the bottom of my heart and all the support and everything. I appreciate it so much. All right, thank you very much. Until next time, peace.